strikes back. Max Verstappen wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc wins the Monaco Grand Prix to achieve his dream. Off goes Leclerc, through goes Hamilton. Lando Norris wins for the first time in Formula One.
Exit out around the outside. He's run out of road.
It's lights out and away we go.
What's up, everybody? A little technical difficulty there. All right, we're kicking out. Why don't you actually scoot into the frame a little bit instead of sitting way over there?
Sorry. Hi.
All right. Oh, that's kind of small. Oh, well. Let's try this. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, welcome back. It's been a while since we've done the F1T podcast. Not a whole lot has actually gone on, except for, the F1 movie came out. Silverstone was a wild and wacky race. A lot of fun there. What's his name? Christian Horner fired, Trump style, from Red Bull. And rookies have been rookies for a while. So
It's great.
yeah, it's been an interesting, kind of fun couple, 3 weeks, I think, since our last one. I think we did one right before we went to go see the movie. And
No, we did one right after the movie.
have we already seen the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Silverstone. So last weekend, this weekend, no races going on.
I'm
Sort
bored.
of a mini summer break, if you will. I was talking about some mid-season testing going on in previous cars from previous seasons, or however you say that. Haas, I think, with their first time being able to do it. They're in Japan on Toyota's track, one of Toyota's tracks over there, testing out their old 23 chassis. So, just kind of a couple of weeks for Formula One to kind of take a breather, get caught up on things. I think we should probably expect to see a lot of chassis upgrades. And Belgium.
Mid-season upgrades.
Yeah, will be the next big race. We'll talk just a little bit about that. But 25th through 27th July. So that's the next weekend. We'll be seeing that. But first, let's talk a little bit about what's been going on. First thing to kind of talk about, I think, we just want to kind of talk a little bit about the F1 movie, Apex Racing, and their incredible rise through the movie. But
I think we talked about that last time a bit, how enjoyable, not super accurate with everything that happened, but yeah.
Yeah, so did we talk about it?
Yeah, you compared it to Top Gun last time.
Oh, well, then I guess I'm not going to talk about it again.
I've seen it twice now. I went with a couple other people to go see it again.
Yeah.
I was technically adult supervision.
Oh, yeah, for a
I was
couple
a chaperone.
kiddos. Yeah, for a younger brother and his friends. So.
Yeah.
Actually, two friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So.
Well, I didn't realize. I completely slipped my mind that we talked about it last time, so I'm not going to talk about it this time. Wish you would have said something about that before.
I thought you had more to cover. I'm sorry.
No, we don't have any more to cover. Yeah, it was a fun movie. Not an accurate movie, but definitely a lot of fun and pretty interesting. So instead,
Apologies.
great. Let's instead kind of slip into talking a little bit about. Let's see if I can put in. My apologies while I try to bring up try to find a nice color scheme. Yeah, let's go with that just because
Wild race.
of what we have.
Wild
So yeah,
race.
go ahead and talk, Rebecca. Some of your initial thoughts there.
Extremely chaotic. It kind of reminded me of Australia bit with the chaos from the rain. Lost a lot of cars again. I think it might be the most that have DNF'd since Australia. I could be wrong. But yeah. A lot of DNFs, a lot of chaos. Everyone seemed to be on different strategies. Like there's a lot of like we're going with slick tires. Now we're going with intermediates. Now we're going with wet tires. It's like, guys, I'm pretty sure the weather is the same everywhere. But I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure in this small track area, the weather's the same.
Yeah, but I think that just kind of goes to show a little bit too how how different teams and different drivers in particular really approach how to attack things. So like some of them found like 3/4 of the track or so was still in pretty good shape and pretty good to race on, especially in the opening laps. You saw Leclerc, who obviously kind of made in the end the wrong decision, but going through the formation lap, felt like enough of the track was in a dry enough condition to warrant going to slicks, and thought he'd be able to get the advantage being on slicks through 3/4 of the track, and then could probably like hang on to it through the like last 2 turns of the track where it was actually the wettest and still having a lot of issues. But other drivers were like, no, it's going to be wet, going to be cold, not going to be good for the slicks here right away. So they stayed on inners, and then especially once the rain started coming back, that worked out pretty well for a lot of them, I think.
Yeah. The rain also gave us a really cool moment. Remember when it like had the camera focusing on Max coming up through the rain? And like at first you couldn't see him, and it just like slowly coming. That was really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And it affected a lot of the driving. A lot of like visibility, always a big issue in the rain. Who was it? Hadjar went right into the back of another rookie, I thought.
Yeah, that was
for a mashup, but he didn't see him.
That was
until the very last second. Was it Bortoletto?
I think it was Bortoletto and Hadjar. I believe. Wait, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was because Hadjar came up behind. Was it Hadjar came up behind or? No, Hadjar came up behind Antonelli.
Mm-hmm.
Just like missed him and crashed. Lawson crashed at some point. Bortoletto crashed at some point. And then Antonelli did the same thing again, I think.
So Hadjar got
hit the back of Kimi, yeah. And then Colapinto also DNF'd after he stalled in the garage, like in the pit lane. They couldn't even get him out for the formation lap. And at first we were like, wait, where? Pretty sure, where's the other driver? There's 20 drivers here. And like at first no one was saying anything about Colapinto. It was a couple laps before they were like, oh yeah, Colapinto stalled in the garage. He's not racing. It's like,
yeah.
What?
So yeah, really, like I said, interesting. Actually, a really fun race for a change with Formula One. Which I love Formula One, but I'll readily admit that it can definitely drop into some doldrums, get pretty boring sometimes if you've got a dominant team that just basically takes the lead and starts coasting with like a 15, 20-second lead.
Yeah.
And especially if you get a couple of DRS trains going on and just people cannot get past each other. That could get kind of boring sometimes, but so you're always excited when you see the element of rain being factored into it. It's pretty excited to see that it was there earlier. Really shook things up at the beginning of the race, and then kind of a fun afternoon with it coming back intermittently. Unfortunately for me personally, it really wrecked Haas's and Ferrari's days, particularly Ferrari, I think. Again, like I said, Leclerc with the bad call on the slicks to start the race, and then throughout the entire race just seemed to like struggle to get himself put back together and kind of collect himself and get his head back into it. Went off the track several times, even once he has switched to intermediates. One thing I will say though, that was weird to me is the decision to like safety car the race during some of the heaviest parts of the rainfall,
Right.
instead of just switching to wets, like people coming off the intermediates and switching to wets and racing the wets. It's like, why the heck do you even have a wet tire if you're not going racing the wets? And I get it. It's hard to see and you get spray and mist and stuff in the way, but
I think it was the visibility factor and the fact that people might not see other drivers.
Yeah, then just like stop the race or something.
Red flag. Yeah.
Again, don't even have the wets if you're not going to like race in conditions that work for wets. But that's I remember watching back in 2000, throw on some wets and go to it. You didn't even get intermediates. You got slicks for wets, and you better make do, buddy. But that's just my old man opinion, I guess. So other things that kind of stood out /sucked. So speaking of Haas and their rough day, Ollie Behrman with his FP3 penalty coming into the pit lane under a red flag for trying to do a traditional race race time entry into the pit lane to practice that, which then put him over the speed limit for a red flag and earned him a 10-second grid penalty. So holy crap for that. And
again, I genuinely think that the stewards just do not like him. Like, what did he do, man?
Yeah.
I think this is like the third penalty he's gotten after practice.
Something like that, yeah. So, and then
it's outrageous.
From there, kind of lock up back in, trying to break down with cold brakes and spinning his car into the wall, taking out the rear end. Always kind of worked out for him, though, because in qualifying, he qualified 8th, which is his best one this year.
Yep.
Had a really strong qualifying, but
it's his best qualifying ever.
Yeah, but I think as a kind of a newer driver, struggled the next day in those wet conditions. Had some issues.
Seen that from him before. Wet races,
not his forte.
Also, like I think he's only done wet races in the Haas.
Yeah,
like the one time he was in a Ferrari's dry race.
Yep.
But yeah, not necessarily his thing. Definitely, I think a lot of learning he's still there.
Yeah, absolutely. Races. That just comes with experience, but hopefully he'll get there with that. But a little bit of some signs of life from him, some signs of life in his qualifying. I've said it a couple times now for him. He really needs to step up his qualifying game because his race pace has actually been really good. We've seen it in the past where Haas will have decent qualifying, but then race pace sucks. They wear out their tires or whatever, and then not do very well. But Ollie has almost been the exact opposite, where he'll qualify, in the mid-teens or even late teens, and then manage to get himself up into like the low teens, just outside the points. And you kind of figure if he could have at least gotten to Q2 and qualified 12th or something with the way he drives in race, he could probably get himself into the points a couple of times. Just unfortunately for him this time with that penalty, he started 18th and really struggled throughout the day. He did finish 11th, just outside the points, which again kind of goes to show you like if he could have kept his qualifying position, he probably would have had a pretty strong finish in the points. Although I'll be honest, a lot of his position gain came from people crashing out. So
5 DNFs.
Yeah, so that technically takes you from about 18th to 13th. So
yeah,
kind of a net gain of 2 positions. So anyway, after that, I think Piastri's little overbreak with the safety car.
Man,
I don't know why such a strong reaction here, but okay.
Yeah, because it was there. Like, I feel like there was a lot of mixed reactions on that. It was like he stopped a bit, he braked a little bit, and a little bit.
Braked a lot of it.
Yeah, and then Max was on the radio like, can't do that. When he pretty sure a couple races ago he had the same thing happen with George Russell.
Yeah, but he didn't brake that hard.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it was.
And
he had it.
obviously a strategy that's employed a lot of times with the safety car, like easing up the gas, getting the person behind you to brake while you jump back on the gas.
Yeah.
So you get that little advantage of taking off while they're still braking. But I think really, like, especially for the conditions, especially if you want to have a safety car out, because it's the racing conditions are too bad for visibility's sake, and you're stopping to the extent that he stopped, and then a little bit petulant afterwards with Greg back to his garage of, oh, well, I guess we can't brake anymore in a safety car. No, dude, you can't brake to that extent. Like, you very clearly overbrake that and try to bait Verstappen into that getting past you so he could be penalized. So don't play. We know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what you're up to. And it worked out well for him in that restart where Verstappen came into the next corner and spun it out.
Spun out really
because
far.
he had kind of cooked his brakes a little bit, trying not to pass him. So, and that spin out, man,
Very
really,
angry. He was very
killed
upset on the
Verstappen.
radio. Yeah.
Going from pole position to what did he finish? 9th?
7th? No, not 7th.
5th.
Yeah.
So 5th, so not too bad, 10 points,
But
I guess.
he dropped a good ways down, and it was only because it was fairly easy to overtake some people.
Yeah.
That he got back up.
So, all right. Let's see. Next up, Hamilton, almost with the podium.
Ferrari were in the streak, man.
Yeah, well, Ferrari, I think it was a little bit of confusion on exactly, like, again, we just talked about, like, how different drivers and different teams approached the weather and when they thought was the best opportunity.
It is very
to come
interesting. Like, we see a lot of it, like, during dry races when it will, like, there's the pop-up at the bottom of the screen, like, possible strategies are these two where you do these tires for these laps and these tires for these laps. And then the rain happens and suddenly everyone's doing something completely different from each other.
Yeah.
And there is no one strategy or two possible strategies that would work out the best.
Yeah, because, you're trying to, like, time it right. You want to, like, get them on. You don't want to get them on too early before the rain hits to where you're running around on inners with mostly dry track.
Yeah.
Ripping up the rubber and also not being able to clock good lap times. So you want to try again, like, just before it hits, but you also want to get in and get it done before the other cars get it done so you can get out and gain that little bit of advantage. So trying to get that timing down just right and anticipate when that's going to happen, that's really hard. And I think that's really what helped in the end, we're getting ready to talk about it here, is Hülkenberg. He was on the money with his pit timing.
Everyone liked that.
For each one of his different tire changes, including that last one, where he held off for one extra lap, put in a couple seconds over Hamilton while he got used to the tires. And then he got him on, and the rain had just hit really well. So the inners came out right onto wet tarmac and actually it was at the end. So it might have been coming out onto dry tarmac with the slicks and performed really well and gave him that edge over Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Because I think Lewis Hamilton coming out on the slicks just a lap too early is one of the things caused him, gave him a little bit of a snap and not spin off the track, but definitely overshot the limits, went off the track a little bit, lost some time. And that's where Hülkenberg, I think, was able to take advantage because he didn't have that issue. And when he went in to get his slicks, the track was in much better condition to support that. So, which led to his first podium of his career.
239th race.
Yep, absolutely. And if you're, you've been following along Formula One for a while, paying attention to where the drivers are, how long they've been, the teams they've been through. Hülkenberg's been through a number of teams here. But
I know he's done Renault, he's been at Haas, he's been at Sauber. I'm pretty sure he's also been somewhere else before.
His Force India.
That's the one.
Yep. So definitely been around, usually a midfield or lesser car. Did some really good things with Haas last year.
Yeah.
Got a couple of strong point finishes. Again, not quite able to put on a podium. I don't think they're ever really in contention for a podium at any point. But again, that's like the nature of the cars he's had throughout most of his career. And in my opinion, he's probably one of the best drivers on the grid as far as just pure driver goes. I think if you put him in one of these top cars, maybe not the second seat at Red Bull, but if you put him in one of these other top cars,
Thanks.
maybe even give him a Williams. Definitely, if you put him, I think maybe even a Racing Bull. I don't know, but put him in a Ferrari and see what you can do with that, or Merc. And I think you'd be really impressed with what he could do with one of those types of cars.
Verstappen to Merc? No, Hulkenberg to Merc.
Yeah, let's put the German in the German car. Let's make it right. But next season it will be, because Audi will be coming in, and so yeah, we'll be
German in the German
we'll
car.
be taking over for Sauber, and it will be a German in the German car. Which again, I think that was actually, if I remember correctly, that's actually a part of the appeal
I think
of
it was.
Sauber and Audi bringing in Hulkenberg was to get that kind of German connection going on. So congratulations to Hulkenberg. I was really excited. I think
we all were.
That's about as pumped as I've been in a long time for not a Ferrari or Haas strong finish. I think the last time I was probably that excited was Leclerc winning in Italy last season. That was a great one. This was probably right up there, which is why we've got our green banners there at the bottom to celebrate the great drive by Nico and the Sauber team. Now,
podium and a Sauber, guys.
Get back in your place and go back to the bottom of the grid so Haas can actually start working their way back up.
Mid-season upgrades, guys. It's gonna work. Trust.
Haas needs that Apex GP floorboard.
Whatever that
come
was.
in.
Suddenly, the teams are actually interested in the movie. Like, wait, how did you do that? How'd you do that?
So, all right. So next up, let's talk a little bit. Yeah, that'll work, I guess.
We were out of drama with the break and no races, so this happened.
Yeah, right? So I remember seeing this.
It's quiet. A little too quiet.
Yeah. So typically my typical day is get up pretty early in the morning. I like to work out. I like to read a little bit, and then I have to be into work somewhat early. So I'm usually up pretty early, and I was definitely up early. Going through some Twitter and saw, I think it was Jeannie Gao, one of the UK's F1 commentators, great person to follow along with on Twitter X, and saw that she had a post, major news coming to F1 today. Be on the lookout, and sure enough, it was like what? 10 minutes later, I think. Started to see some X posts about Horner being out at Red Bull. So then, of course, you're like, and this was probably 4:35 in the morning East Coast time. Then I started wondering. So then from there, you start going through. All right, where are the major F1 sources? Formula1.com.
Red Bull,
something a little bit,
Instagram.
ESPN, all these other ones to get the official word. And sure enough, Horner, after
20 years 20 years exactly. This was his 20th season.
Yep. And what do you have? 8 constructors in that time, and I think 6 possibly drivers championships in that time.
I thought Vettel had 4, no?
Did he have 4 or did he have 3? I can't remember. All right. Anyway, definitely. That would have been better. Let's see. Team summary. Podiums. World Championship 6. So, yeah. Pretty great career for him. A lot of talks about, and still I don't think any real clear indication of exactly what it was
No, it was
that
just
got him fired.
parting ways.
Yeah, but
Leaving the team.
Laurent
It's like,
Mekies coming up from Racing Bulls, where he's been doing a really good job there with the hand-me-down parts that Red Bull give them and drivers. And he will be coming up to RB. Oh, yeah, man. Coming up to RB to manage the team through the rest of the season. We'll see if that carries into next season as well.
hopefully it gets better with him there, guys.
Yeah, maybe they start designing cars for each of the drivers.
And not just for stopping.
Yeah. And so with him going up, Alan Perman is in now as team principal for Racing Bulls. So I think he was an engineer, now moved up there.
I think, didn't they say for Laurent Mekies that, like, technically he's they said he's CEO, but did they? Oh, no, yeah, he is team principal. It says team chief. Okay. So he is a team principal. I remember seeing something where, like, we were talking about it. It said he's been promoted to CEO, but it didn't say specifically team principal.
Oh,
so it was like, huh. Why is there a different team principal? Or no, he is a team principal. It's just weirdly written for some reason. But yeah, that was absolutely insane to me seeing that. Like, I think that was one of the first things I saw when I woke up because you texted it to the group chat, and I was like, "What? You can't be lying to me right now, man. I just woke up." And then, like, I thought maybe it was just, like, one of the other, like, lower, like, one of the, like, accounts that will, like, circulate the news, like, before it happens. Like, you know, we were, like, it kind of happened when they were talking before Yuki got promoted, before any, like, of the official Instagrams were saying it. There were some other, like, accounts that were like, this is coming out today, or this is what it's sounding like. And at first I thought it might be that, but then I was, like, looking at my Instagram and I saw, like, official F1 Instagram, Christian Horner's out, and I'm like, well, okay then, what? And there's no clear answer, but I think we've speculated quite a bit.
So yeah, speaking of speculations, what are your favorite, like, conspiracy theories going forward? Whether they're like what's yet to come, what already happened. I think my favorite so far, and I don't know if it's the most likely to be honest, but it's definitely my favorite, is Total Wolff coming over from Mercedes to take over Red Bull and guide Max and a future number 2 driver.
Toto, I'm sorry, I can't come to Mercedes. Who said anything about Mercedes?
Right, that's my favorite, but I don't think that's the most likely.
Apologies.
I don't really think that's the most likely.
I don't think it is either, but I think he's staying with Mercedes. But I think one of the most interesting things I've seen is people think it's they either fired Christian because he failed to keep Max on the team because Max is going to Mercedes or somewhere else, or like he either failed to, like, convince him to stay or said, yeah, okay, you can leave.
Right, yeah. I think it's funny that it's like it's like the opposite ends of that.
It's like, did he fail to keep him, or did he let him go?
Or was he letting him go?
Yeah. And then that's, like, one of the other things I've been thinking about so much is, like, if Max does go to Mercedes, who's leaving Mercedes? And, like, I feel like there's a couple of people, like, I feel like it's interesting. I feel like more people would have thought Antonelli just because he's the new driver. Mm-hmm. But I think the general consensus has been kind of like, if he is, I think it might be George because he hasn't extended his contract yet. And also, like, despite good amount of DNFs for Kimi this season, he's also gotten a pole position in sprint and a podium in his rookie season. And, like, they may be looking more towards the future of the team with a rookie and then a 4-time world champion, as opposed to George, who's had how many race wins? 3, 4?
Who?
George Russell.
George Russell, right here. 4. All Although
Yeah.
I don't know if that counts his 24 spa. That was.
It does not count that. It does
Okay.
not count that. But yeah, so I think that's kind of the general consensus. Like, they brought George in with the expectation that he could also be a world champion in the event that like Lewis wasn't or Lewis left. It would be him. And just maybe hasn't been as many wins as they expected, or hasn't been the results they expected. Even if they're really good results, I feel like if they do move Max in, it's going to be Max and Kimi, which would be an interesting pairing to see.
Yeah.
Since like already like there's been a lot of like Max like looking after rookies like Kimi and Bortoleto. So yeah, interesting pairing to see. I think it would also be insane if George and Max were on the same team, given the history that they have.
Georgia man. Yeah, that would be kind of weird.
That'd be very tense.
Maybe he would be the one on the out.
Yeah.
Plus, you got this rookie who's been doing really well. I think you'd keep him around and then shop George out someplace else, or let George find someplace else. I think he'd land pretty well. Cadillac is still looking for technically two, but the more I hear, the more I read, the more it sounds like really they're only looking for one more driver at this point. It's sounding more and more like Perez is going to be locked into that spot, and or
I think it's going to be
Bottas.
very fun to see him come back to.
Yeah, it would be
either of them would be really fun to see come back to driving, especially since Bottas hasn't driven in a couple years now.
Yeah.
Since George got moved into Mercedes.
Yeah. All right, let's kind of start wrapping this up maybe a little bit. I'll talk a little bit rookie recap. Bekah, take the wheel here as it would be.
Oh, man. 5 DNFs in Silverstone, all of them rookies, all of them very chaotic spins or crashes. I think, like we said, Isaac hit the back of Kimi and then ended up spinning out. Colapinto stalled in the pit lane, didn't even get to do the formation lap.
Yeah, so Colapinto actually without a DNF. Yeah,
DNS did not start. Great. I think I'm gonna talk about Colapinto again in a second, but I think Lawson and Bortoleto just spun out in the rain, really crazy. Like, I think their tires just gave up on them, and they ended up in the barriers.
Actually, yeah, they were out early in the race, so Lawson didn't complete a lap, and Bortoleto just got 3 down before he retired.
And then yeah, Isaac hit the back of Kimi. Kimi kept going, but I think he have an incident. He did not have an incident with Yuki. Yuki had an incident with someone else, but that's okay. It's not bad. Kimi hung on for a bit, but I think there was a moment where he was closer to someone else where he again didn't see them in time, ended up going off, and then I think the previous damage to his car from the crash ended up DNFing as well. So I think very disappointing rookie race. And especially for Kimi, it's got to be hard because he's like come from this podium in his rookie season, and then like he's had so many good races where he finishes high in the points, or like in Miami he got pole for the sprint, or he got the podium in what was that, Canada?
Who?
Kimi, podium. Yeah, in Canada. And then in between those, he just seems to keep DNFing. And it's like, and almost always it's not because like he does something, it's because like something.
Except that time he ran into Max.
Except that time. But Max was fine with that. If it had been George, it would have been a very different story.
Oh yeah, I mean Kimi's a rookie, so
yeah, and he likes Kimi. So. Anyways. But a lot of times it's been the car, or it's been like another driver's crash in, or like the rain affected this one. So it's got to be very fluctuating emotions. It's very weird to be like, I keep doing really well, but then I also keep doing bad. And then yeah, Ollie clung on to 11th, basically barely made it to the just barely missed the points.
Yeah, had a really good charge for a while there at the end.
Yeah.
On George Russell, I thought he was actually going to get.
I think we definitely thought he was gonna overtake George.
Yeah, he had him. He had him within DRS. Had him a couple times. Had him, I think, at one time started a move on him, but wasn't able to finish it.
Yeah. But he was like
had the gap down to 0.3 of a second, and then I think at the end just kind of backed off on it. Realized it wasn't probably going to happen.
Yeah, and I think that was like disappointing for some of a lot of the fans there. His first home race, just missing the points. So, but good effort considering the collision between the two Haas's. I think that also involved Yuki at one point. Like Yuki was trying to get in front of them, and that ended up pushing Ocon into Ollie, or Ollie into Ocon.
Something like that. Or are you talking about there at the beginning of the race, or over the halfway mark?
I know
Yuki had a thing with Ocon where Ocon had nowhere to go, and that was right at the beginning of the race.
And that ended up with a penalty for Yuki.
Yep. And then later, Behrman was basically just trying to overtake Ocon and kind of
and then they
to the side.
I think he hit his tire and then they spun and synchronized.
Took some damage on the front wing. Both of them had a nice beautifully synchronized spin out, and then got right back on track. Managed to, I think, actually keep position. And then
and then Ollie got Carlos Sainz, right?
Yes.
Ollie overtook.
Even with a damaged wing, Ollie managed to push the car down the track pretty good, and eventually caught Sainz and then caught up to, but couldn't overtake Russell. So it seems like Ollie with a little bit of car damage usually does better.
It's like, did that make the car lighter? Did that make it go faster? The FIA is not listening to this. Don't listen. I didn't say that. And then Colapinto was interesting because originally when Alpine made the announcement that Jack was being swapped out, which literally a week earlier they said they weren't doing, and then they fired their team principal, or their team principal left. And then they're like, actually, no, Colapinto's in. Bye, Jack. They said he had a 5-race contract to see if the positions could be improved or if anything could be done, and then they were going to reevaluate it once that happened. And then we got past the 5 races. What was right before Silverstone?
You think we would know this, but we don't.
We don't.
Sorry.
It was Austria. Okay, that's what I thought. It was Austria. Made it up to Austria. Hasn't had any points finishes. Qualifying in the races have both been kind of equally unimpressive. And then we got to the end of the 5 weeks. He even had, I think, 2 DNFs within that time as well, or at least one. And in 5 races and nothing from Alpine. No, we're extending the contract. We're doing another race here or another race here to see how this goes. We didn't, nothing about we're going to switch this driver in or reevaluate at this point. Just, he's still racing, and we have no idea what Alpine is doing.
I don't think Alpine knows what they're doing yet.
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
I really don't think they do. So it's, I think I've said this before, but it's going to be very interesting to see if Alpine continues to cycle drivers out, because they said they were going to have a rotating driver wheel basically for whoever was in the car, and yet they haven't seemed to really do that.
It'll be interesting to see where that goes over the next several races. What we, coming back from this mini break, if Colapinto's still behind the wheel, or if they've brought back
Jack, or if
somebody new, or
Paul Aaron's their other main reserve driver. See if they bring him in, finally get him in an F1 car. And that it's going to be very interesting to see where contracts go, because I think one of the things, like, there's been really no like contract extensions or new contracts written.
Those are
so
usually
far.
more for like the full summer break. So
That
I think
is
in
true.
August is
I think
that's silly season in F1, and that's when the rumors really kick into full gear.
It's going to be so fun, guys.
You know, if the Verstappen and Wolf rendezvous in Sardinia wasn't enough to get your rumor mill going.
They're like, it's too quiet. We need drama.
Yeah, I think August will prove very fruitful and a lot of fun to follow along. All right, so wrapping it up here real quick, we'll do a quick rundown of where we stand with teams and drivers going into Belgium. That's going to be not obviously this weekend, but next weekend. So we'll try to maybe get a preview pod out midweek to talk a little bit about Belgium before we get into it. Otherwise, you probably will not see us until after Belgium. I will be on travel through the weekend. Rebecca will be fighting pandemic illnesses in college. So we'll see what goes.
I have a camp.
Oh, you're going to be at
there. I'm going to be at a concert. I'm going to be at a concert the day of the race, guys.
Yeah, the night of the race. So big weekend for Rebecca next weekend.
Very excited.
All right. So McLaren obviously is kicking the daylights out of everybody right now. They are going to win the Constructors' Championship unless they decide to not race
the next 12 races.
460 points to second place. Ferrari's 222. Last season it was fun at the end to see Ferrari and McLaren go into the final race of the season for the championship. That's not going to happen this year. Mercedes right on the heels though of Ferrari. Maybe we'll get a fun fight at 2 and 3. They've got 210 points, and Red Bull Racing is back at 172. They could still technically mix it up in that second place finish, but with the way Yuki Tsunoda has been flatlined, it's probably not going to happen.
If they fix the car, then maybe we could.
Williams, who had a stranglehold on best of the rest with 59 points, a couple of lackluster finishes over the last 2 races, has allowed Kick Sauber with some great performances from Hülkenberg.
And Bordeaux
basically catch
points
up
in
to
Austria.
Yep. And then, like we said earlier, Haas, my team there, dropping out. They've done nothing over the last 3 or 4 races. They now have 29 points, only 10 ahead of last place Alpine. Haas has a lot of work to do in the wind tunnel. I think this last couple of weeks to get some upgrades added to that car and fast in order to get back above or get back into contention. Really neat 6th place as a team this year after just missing out on it last year. Would be kind of suck to see them finish that far off down to 9th after having such a great year last year and having a nice start to this year as well.
At least it's not Alpine stealing it from them this time.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the drivers, Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, obviously of the McLaren team, are the ones battling it out. There is an 8-point gap for those guys, 234 for Oscar, 226 for Norris.
It's going to be very scary to see how the rest of the season goes.
Or very exciting to finally see a driver's championship that's in question all the way up until the end.
I might have a heart attack, so if this becomes a solo podcast, you know why.
Max Verstappen, they're in 3rd place, trailing pretty far behind at this point. Almost over 60 points back from Lando Norris at 165.
Several very big wins and
Norris again to like not do anything, basically pull Montreal for the next 3 races.
Oh, jeez.
George Russell though nipping at Verstappen's heels, less than 20 points, only 18 points back from Verstappen at 147, and Leclerc and Hamilton in the Ferraris battling it out for 5th place. Only 16 points separating those guys, 119 and 103. After that, the biggest surprise I think probably here is 2 surprises. Kimi Antonelli, the rookie, leads the rest of the pack with 63 points. And then Hulkenberg with a nice positioning right now in ninth with 37 points, due a large part to the last several races and doing well there. So, again, make sure you guys there it is on X. Yep. At UNC Navy 03. I occasionally post stuff on Formula One, but other things as well. Follow One Fan's Opinion on YouTube. I've got 2 channels going on there, my own thing, but also you'll find EFF-1T on there as well. Make sure you like and subscribe so you get notifications when, given the fact we're not the most consistent podcast out there, it's important to get those notifications that we're going live and we're recording podcasts. And then we'll try to do a little bit more of the Formula One shorts, get those, uploading those. Maybe do some things during the race as well, through the races as well. So should be a lot of fun. We could use y'all's support to get a little bit of recognition and keep going from here.